Final Fantasy I, a good, oh, let's see now. Ooh, I'm gonna say 12 hours past the expectation of a normal gamer, which goes to show me, in the first game, I'm not as good as I used to be. It's fine. I am, yeah, 30, 40 years older than I was when I was good at these games, so that's fine. That's not what we're here for. We're not here for my ineptitude. We're here for the games. Let's see. Now that we're done, can I fully remember the plot of the game and what we did based on not what they just rehashed me with here? Let's see. We start in a town where a princess was put to sleep. I believe that was Sarah. Princess Sarah? No, Princess Sarah was kidnapped. Princess Sarah was kidnapped. And we go to a ruin where Garland was at? Was that the ruin that Garland was at? And we rescue Princess Sarah from Garland. And we return him. And that's when we find out about the orbs. No, we came with the orbs. That's when we find out. Crap. Now we're thinking. I'm trying to think back 20 hours, which was many days ago. Anyway, let's use the broad sweeping terms. We travel the world, defeating the fiends to reignite the luster of the orbs, in order to then defeat Garland in the past, who becomes Chaos because he's a prisoner of his own time loop. And apparently, I believe the game is telling us we are trapped in said time loop because we're only going to be forgotten and no one's going to remember where the stories came from. And then the game is also filled with all these side quests of doing things in order to achieve that, like waking up the Elven Prince with herbs because he's in a fitful slumber for I don't know how long it said he was. I guess if these are elves that live forever, maybe Garland put him to sleep 2,000 years ago. Uh, there was also getting the TNT to the dwarves. There's investigating the Sky Fortress, which people say that something fell into the water, but we go into space and it's there, so I guess maybe we missed out on a side quest or something with a bunch of people that claim they saw something fall into the water a long time ago. We have an ancient high-tech civilization that has robots that created the Sky Fortress, but I guess gets all messed up when the Fiend messes everything up in the past. We have figures like, what's her name? Matoya? Matoya? Yeah, I think it's Matoya, who I know occurs later in Final Fantasy XIV. She's re-referenced. We have the Sage Circle. We have a couple of named sages. I don't remember their names at the moment. Sarog, something like that. He's the one who's not afraid of caves. But yeah, not a lot of really deep story here. Not a lot of setting. This is the NES version. I think it's obvious by now. So the towns don't get named off the bat. People refer to them like the guy who says, "I'm from the ravished village of Melmond," but then nobody in Melmond actually says the name of their village. I mean, entirely possible that I was not told about like a button I could have pushed and said, "Hey, this is the village that you're in," but hey, it is what it is. First Final Fantasy I game. I believe I said this before. It has a lot of flaws, a lot of things that could have made it better, but it is the first game they made, so I'm not gonna count it as, giant strikes against them. They only had the one game, so the flaws that happen in this game, if I see them in the next game, that's when I'll start blaming things. But otherwise, for now, not a fan of Poison. Put out a video specifically about me talking about the Poison because I hated it so much. Not because it's deadly. I mean, I think halfway through the game I figured out, hey, spend some time buying Pures, it's not going to be a problem. More so that it changes your party loadout for no reason, and then screams at you when you move. That's the Mega Man levels of, hey, your energy is low. Let's put a whale on the audio track for no reason, because you might not understand visual references versus audio references. Other than that, the random generation of mobs that will just kill you out of the blue. I like roguelikes, so I'm not gonna fault it for the random deaths. If there's no random deaths, then I don't feel like there's any chance that I'm gonna be threatened by anything. So it padded the game time out, but at the same time, it felt worthwhile to me. It also made me feel more on the edge of my seat, like when bad things would happen versus when good things would happen. Like, oh, this is a good run. They're not casting rub every time. They're only casting paralyze versus the same times where I would be running out of a dungeon. I think anybody who watches these things is going to remember run out of a dungeon. Hey, here's a group of 6 guys who all cast paralyze. You're gonna die now. You're in a paralyzation loop, and they're just gonna kill you. Overall, though, I actually really enjoyed this game. This was fun to play. I mean, Arkloid, of course, made it more fun, and Raph as well, when you both came around and chatted me up while we're playing. But I think this is also a game I would have had enjoyment playing way back when, by myself. Certainly not the type of game I was playing as a kid. I was playing more of Nemo and Dreamland and Master Blaster and games of that nature. Action, side-scroller, beat-em-ups, and whatnots. But yeah, I think those are all of my my thoughts on Final Fantasy I at the moment, and I guess maybe I'll come back and re-hit that up if I'm playing Final Fantasy II and something strikes me, because that's the next game in line. Also, the NES version of Final Fantasy II, same as we did here. Other than that, I think I already voiced all of my thoughts on the oddity of Garland and his time loop, because he is forever trapped, and that's really an odd way to end a fantasy storyline, is that our heroes and our villain are trapped forever in this time loop of exactly what you just did. We could restart this game over again and we would be exactly where we ended the game right now, forever in a time loop. Kind of depressing when you think about it. But yeah, no, thanks for joining me on this journey, and that's my sign out. Y'all have a good time, and I'll see you at Final Fantasy II.